When I was 13, this new kid Diego pressed a binder of rare Pokemon cards into my hands and whispered, "I need you to make me sit next to Selena at lunch." When I was 13, this new kid Diego pressed a binder of rare Pokemon cards into my hands and whispered, "I need you to make me sit next to Selena at lunch." I almost laughed until I saw he was dead serious. Diego had been homeschooled until 8th grade, while Selena was the girl who made the morning announcements and somehow made even that look cool. Pokemon cards were Pokemon cards, though. He explained that he'd been eating lunch alone for 3 weeks, while Selena's table was the most popular table at lunch. But he noticed Selena's table always had one empty seat on Tuesdays, when someone had orchestra practice. He'd overheard 3 guys in the locker room planning their weekly race for it. Jeremy, Grant, and this kid Javier literally sprinted from different corners of the cafeteria every Tuesday to claim it. Now he just needed me to help him get there naturally. Otherwise, he would look like the weird new kid who forced his way in. Selena barely knew he existed and had already turned down 5 guys that semester. Diego showed me his notebook where he'd written down conversation topics he thought might work. "I heard her talking about her dog in biology," he said, fidgeting with his pen. "And she likes that band Arctic Monkeys." He'd practiced what he wanted to say in his mirror at home, he admitted, turning red. He even wrote backup topics in case the first ones flopped. The whole thing felt like watching someone prepare for the scariest presentation of their life. The plan was to beat the racers without racing. I had to slow down all 3 guys at once, so I recruited 2 friends to help without telling them why. One friend would delay Jeremy with a fake homework emergency, I'd get Grant talking about basketball, and my other friend would redirect Javier with some drama about missing gym clothes. We had to hit them all at the same time or it wouldn't work. Diego would stroll over casually, like he had no idea there was even a competition. "They can't get mad if I'm not racing," he reasoned. "I'll just be a guy who happened to sit down." I had no idea if this would work, but I'd already imagined trading those Pokemon cards. The stakes felt weirdly high for a lunch seat. Tuesday arrived and I watched the cafeteria like a hawk. Selena sat down at the same time, like always. The 3 racers were in position, waiting for Orchestra Kid to leave. My friends executed perfectly. Jeremy got trapped by algebra questions, Grant started yelling about LeBron versus Jordan, and Javier frantically searched for his stolen gym shorts. Diego walked through the cafeteria doors right on time, carrying his tray nervously, trying not to shake. The racers were still tangled up in our distractions when Diego reached the table. But then Selena's friend Gracie stood up and put her backpack on the empty seat. This wasn't part of any plan. Diego froze 3 feet from the table, holding his tray like an idiot. The volleyball girls all turned to look at him. I watched from across the cafeteria as Selena whispered something to Gracie. Gracie picked up her backpack and smiled at Diego. "Oh, sorry, were you going to sit here?" she asked, loud enough for everyone to hear. Diego nodded and sat down, his ears bright red. The 3 racers finally broke free from our distractions just in time to see Diego already sitting there. They just started talking. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but she was actually laughing. Not the polite kind, but the real kind where she covered her mouth. Selena asked him about the band first, mentioning she heard him humming one of their songs in biology. Diego forgot all his index cards, forgot his rehearsed lines, and somehow that made everything better. The volleyball girls included him in their conversation about the upcoming dance. Selena's friend kept smiling at me from across the cafeteria, like she knew something. When lunch ended, Selena wrote her number on Diego's hand with a purple pen. The next few days, Diego kept sitting there without any orchestration needed. He and Selena became lab partners, then study buddies, then whatever middle schoolers call it when they hold hands during fire drills. But here's the part that still gets me. Selena's friend showed me a text thread from 2 weeks before Diego even approached me. Selena had been tracking his schedule, figuring out his interests, and had her own color-coded notebook about him. She'd been trying to orchestrate her own plan, placing the backpack on the seat to prevent the other guys from sitting if he hadn't made it. Both of them had been running the exact same operation. The next Monday, Diego found me at my locker with the biggest grin I'd ever seen. "Dude, Selena just told me everything," he said, shaking his head. "She had her own mission to sit with me." We both started laughing so hard the hall monitor told us to quiet down. Now they eat lunch together every day.